It's this one. Okay. So this will be made into a YouTube video, so just be aware that it'll be a public video. But if you say anything which you don't want to be on that, just let me know and I'll take it out later. Okay. All right. So I just think a couple more people are arriving. Just got to get them settled in here. Welcome, Amy. Okay. Just see. I'm going to share the screen now. So if you want to see the webcams on the right, just click on the 3x3 dot matrix at the top of it and then rearrange the webcam window size and you'll be able to see everybody. Okay. Hi, Patricia. Thanks for switching the video on. Okay. So I'm Nicolas, the man of the Centre for Conscious Ascension. Welcome to the webinar, Opening to Your Flow of Abundance. This is the free healing webinar to do that very thing, to help you out with that. I have one more person coming here. I think, no. Okay, so get underway. Right. And lots of people, hi Amy, lots of people will be watching this later on, which is why we do the recording, because of the time zone difference to North America. So I'll be speaking to you guys live, but also for the guys who are going to attend later. So are you here to do something very special for the world, but can't rely on the universe to give you what you need when you need it? And this free live group healing webinar is to gracefully accelerate the healing of the fear of stepping into the life you really desire. I had this in 1997 when I left my corporate job. I had a lot of fear around leaving to do what I'm doing now, but it worked. I'm still here, still solvent, just so that you can quicken the process of safely letting go, opening to the flow of abundance and delivering your gift to the world, gift of service to the world, which we as light workers all have. And that special thing we carry in us, in our soul, that seed is very much our gift of service. And it's something we search for from the time we wake up spiritually. And it's hidden from us till we're ready under the many layers of our ego. So what I want to hear from you guys, those of you willing to share, is what's brought you here. So I want to sort of set intention, because these webinars depend on where you're coming from when we do this. So you can either put it in the chat, or you can switch your sound on and talk to me even if you haven't got your video on. Then I can focus the webinar to what you need, okay? It's a healing experiential process that we're doing here. It's not just information. So if you'd like to share, just wave your hand and switch your video, switch your sound on. Okay. Anyone like to go? Some of my practitioners. Okay, Cheryl.
Well, so I just took your other course, soul decoding.
Soul contract reading, yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned this type of healing, and I'm very interested in learning it. So that's a very practical answer, but that's my reason for being here.
Okay, thank you. Maria.
I have the same reason, because I have also just done your soul reading, soul contract reading.
Training,
and
yeah.
I'm a different person. So I'm very curious.
Yep.
Because you said that it was like a perfect match together with soul contract readings, divine healing.
Yes, very good for clearing the issues in the soul contract. Anyone else like to?
For yourself, you mean for yourself and for your clients?
For the clients, yeah, for both.
For both, yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Anyone else like to share? Okay, Ina, then we'll have Faye.
Okay, I'm Ine from Holland, so English is not my native language. I started with Brit Henlon with the light of the light body, the divine healing. So I had already my soul contract and a lot of sessions. So I'm very curious to the divine healing and to also bring it to Holland. So I'm very curious for today, and even more abundance for me and the whole world. It's always good, especially for wealth.
Okay, thank you, Anna. And your English is fine, much better than my Dutch. So, okay. Faye.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm really interested about today. I'm doing the Divine Healing course next week, 15th to the 18th. And I've been doing a lot of work on soul contract readings and overlays with a lot of my friends and doing divine healing. So I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about abundance and wealth and how I can bring that into my life. So yeah.
Thank you. Who wants to go next? Amy. I've seen your name a lot. Nice to meet you. Okay.
Nice to meet you too. I'm here because I am within the last year or two, I've kind of opened up to know that I'm a healer. I have a knowing that I'm here to be a leader in some way, but I feel so small still inside. So letting go of those limiting beliefs and knowing that I am able to help others.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. Tim's messaged me absolutely what you just read out. I have a deep exclamation mark. I have a deep knowing that I'm here for a big purpose and have many different sessions like QHHT, Psyche, energy healing, and they all come back to this purpose, but none can point to what it is. Okay. You may not be able to identify exactly what it is, but we can help you get towards it. You need a soul contract reading for that to get real purpose. Okay. Riz, do you want to speak? You always have something to say. You have to unmute.
Yeah, I was just about to volunteer to speak next. Hello, Maria. Hello, Cheryl. Good to see you guys again. Faye, I look forward to seeing you on Friday next week because I'm doing the Divine Healing. I am here because I just want to gain a lot more spiritual knowledge and obviously begin to teach it to others. Working as a psychotherapist, I have begun to integrate this work into my trauma work, and it's been absolutely fascinating and extremely powerful. And after correcting my soul contract just by one letter, it kind of everything just fell into place and it made absolute sense. So with my soul destiny being 1213,
12-3.
Pardon?
12-3.
12 of 1213, sorry, 12 of 3, yes. It just confirms everything that I'm here to do, which is to just gather as much information and then share it with others. And yeah, so it does feel like the 12-3, that there is always this urgency to finish things, and I never feel like I have enough time. And it was funny because when I had my divine healing done unconsciously, one of the things that I did work with was this lack of time, or feeling like I have a lack of time. So yeah, I'm just looking forward, and I have one of those days again today. So I'm looking forward to just garnering as much information about this as much as possible.
Okay, thanks, Rose.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, Patricia. You have to unmute, Patricia. You're still on mute.
Oh, there we go.
You can hear you now. Yep.
Hi. Hello, David and everyone. I'm from Oregon, and the reason I got interested in soul contracts was from Maria. She and I have become really good friends, and I just want to learn more about myself and how I can really live my my soul path. So, and I'm very interested in healing, divine healing. So I want to get learn as much as I can and see where it goes.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. So this is the friend you're talking about, Maria. Thought so, yeah.
Oh, you've been talking about me.
Not by name, but she mentioned your presence in Oregon.
Yeah.
So I just figured out who you were. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else want to say hi? Marie, you got more to say?
May I just add something that this is Patty's third attempt here, because she was here twice before, but we couldn't see her. First time she made it here in the last minute, just for the last minute.
Yeah.
So I said to her today on Facebook, third time lucky.
Yeah, well, if you're meant to be here, you'll be here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to say anything? Okay, Tim said, I've had your book for several years and have decoded my soul contract, but it didn't really highlight much back then. I probably need to go back to it. Yeah, probably have a couple of goes at it. Tim. And Zanny in Canada said, if abundance isn't flowing in our lives, how do we identify whether it has to do with our soul contract and therefore we aren't meant to have abundance? This is a different reason that is actually within our ability to shift. If there's a lack of abundance in life, there will be in your soul contract for those familiar with it, just based on the sound of your name. There will be a program somewhere about unworthiness to be loved or to receive love, where you all feel disconnected, abandoned by God in some way by coming into a body. So it's a question of getting to that program. And all programs can be changed. It's not hardwired. It can be challenging, but it can be changed if you know what you're looking for. Okay, if you identify precisely what's creating it in the soul contract, then you can use divine healing to change your program. I spent 20 years from leaving my corporate job in '97, barely making a living, until I really got my consciousness around my unworthiness to be loved from childhood. It was a very deep pre-verbal program. And once I started breaking through that program, then things got a little better and progressively more and more better. So it just takes time. So if you do have a block to abundance, it can be worked on, but it's not going to be like some magic wand or that you and a child feels magically it'll be done overnight. You've got to work at it, which is why divine healing was developed. There are no quick fixes, no matter what any long North American website may tell you. If you spend lots of money, you get a quick fix. It does not work. You've got to do your conscious work and focus on the issues. And if you persist and focus, it will work. Okay. And the soul creates these challenges for us to overcome because it wants us to go from a feeling of a lack of love, a lack of worthiness, to feeling totally worthy to be loved. But we need to go through it step by step, which is what I'm going to talk about now. Okay. So Zanny, in short, you can shift it. Okay, Mickey, do you want to say hi, or you just don't have to if you don't want?
Hi, everyone. I came in a little late, so I'm not exactly sure.
We're just having a check-in to see what your intention is for this webinar. Okay, what brought you here? What's your intention? Just so I get a feel for what everyone's needing.
Sure. I got the email. I saw the email, and I remember that we did a reading, the name reading, and it resonated with me. And so I was just interested to see. Right now I'm moving through a phase of kind of trying to integrate just newfound wisdom into my actual life at a practical and tangible level. So I know these things in theory, so I'm trying to implement it at a practical level. So I'm in this space between like the old me and the new me. So that's what I've been working through. And then I got the email for this. So I figured I'd come and see if it would resonate.
Welcome. All right.
Thank you.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this works, and feel free to ask questions as we go. I'm going to sort of give you a top-level explanation of how divine healing works. Then we're going to go and do some, so you know exactly what I'm talking. You'll have the direct experience of it. That's how we do this. Okay. So you can arrange your webcams on the right and stretch them out full height, then you can see everybody. And if your screen is small, there'll be a little arrow on the bottom right and you can scroll between the different windows, but it's good to stay connected to people. So I spent most of my life trying to find out that special thing. I had a feeling there was something important to do I remember from the time I was a teenager, and at school and university and work, and all the adults had no idea how to answer that question. In fact, I didn't even feel like I asked that question because I felt I wasn't going to get the right answer. And that was the beginning of my spiritual journey. And it got me eventually, sort of, after normal sort of 3D work, I got on a spiritual path of leaving, escaping from little old New Zealand, where I come from, over 30 years ago. And I went on my spiritual journey to find that special thing. And I knew there was something important to do. And then I got into got a lot of training in America with Frank Alper, who taught me the soul contract work and cellular healing and lots of other spiritual philosophies and tools. Brought the soul contract work to England. I did a normal job, a corporate job, for about 7 years. And then I left that to do what I'm doing now, because the spiritual signature, the feeling was I can't do this anymore. And then in that process, I realized I needed to have a tool to actually heal myself. I'd realized, I was starting to realize how much separation, how much dysfunction was in my emotional body, my ego, from childhood, which is what we all have to a greater or lesser degree. So, and I met our mirror, Ariel Hilaire, who we were together for about 8-9 years. We formed the Center for Conscious Ascension. We both had a lot of separation, and we knew we needed to find a very powerful tool to clear it, to get on with this mission here. And after much exploration and trying out lots of other therapies, she developed divine healing with 2 other friends of ours, Prasannan and Mary. And basically, they channeled it from source to multidimensional healing system, whose purpose is to help us open to grace, to help us get back to source and consciousness. So what happened was that, I'll show you how that works. What happens is that we come from source here, the one great soul that forms this universe. And this is on what we call the 12th dimension. And it wanted to know itself more. So rather than sort of sitting there thinking about it, which is what it was doing initially, it decided to create an out-breath of itself, of its consciousness. And it created all these dimensions. And it took parts of itself, sparks of itself, had them densify gradually to more and more density till it went from pure light and consciousness all the way to the 3rd dimension, which is where we are, into maximum separation from source, to the point that we forgot that is where we come from. And that memory in us, that special thing we're looking for, is the means of getting home to source. It's source put in a little spark of itself within us, our soul, a desire to find a way home. Because there's always a feeling in us that something's not quite right about this place, which is true, because it's so separate from source. This is why it's so dysfunctional, the world. It's just a lack of consciousness. And so Almira and the 2 others, Almira's a medical doctor, was a medical doctor, now a healer, and the other 2 others were kinesiologists. They downloaded from the high dimensions here all the components of divine healing, and it's a way of peeling our ego onion. It's designed to do this. It's designed to peel our ego onion here, formed by our soul contract, for those who are familiar with it, which comes from the sound of our birth name. Peel all our programs in the correct order so that we get back to the original flame of consciousness, the pure love of our soul, the pure source energy in us, so we can go home in consciousness, so that we can ascend. We'll probably have the ascension process. It's about shifting in consciousness and rising in consciousness through these dimensions, layer by layer, by peeling this onion here. And that is the purpose of divine healing. It's here to get you out of the illusion, dissolve the illusion of the ego, this temporary personality construct, this earth suit, or this avatar. If you watch the movie, it's an avatar that your soul is in to play a certain role in this earthly reality based upon what's in your soul contract. What the sound of your name creates your reality here. And so it's designed to help you burn through all those limitations of what you think is real, to get back in consciousness to source. That's the purpose of divine healing. So for the, if you've read the book, your soul contract code, or done the course, it's to burn through all the programs in the soul contract and follow that spiritual map of life back home. And it's unusual as a healing medium in that there are many different beings, many different groups who contributed towards it. It wasn't just from one particular school. So because we were asking for this tool, Mary, they gave it to her to help everyone get back home. So essentially you can, what you can do with divine healing is that you can do this. You can take all the mud of your life, all those challenges, like you were talking about that, I think it was Zanny, all the mud of your life, all the stuff which you're stuck in, all the heavy karmic stuff, which seems like it's never going to go away, and transform it into lotuses. So this is the Buddhist model where this is oneness, and we're transforming mud into lotuses, everything. And so it's all one ultimately, dark into light. And the idea is to go from sloshing around in the mud or buried in the mud to bringing consciousness to the mud and creating a lotus, creating beautiful things in your life. So the biggest challenges you face, especially in abundance, or mine was, still is sometimes, was to feel my way into it, was to bring consciousness to that and transform it. Because what the ego does is this. The very fact of being born in this third dimensional reality creates the feeling that I'm abandoned by God, I feel unworthy to be loved by God because I got kicked out of heaven, and I don't trust God. Those are the three core ego programs that all humans carry. And everything else is a subset of that, depending on how you arrived. But they're the core programs. And if you can heal all of these, most of it is subconscious, then you can become very abundant. It doesn't mean just money, it's about the flow of love and ideas and opportunity, all the good stuff in life. If you can heal all that, then everything starts to turn up for you. But our ego is not so keen on that idea, so it does this. The first thing that most people do is they avoid dealing with their stuff, their emotional separation. And if you keep doing that long enough, you get sick, or you get old and bitter, and people get ill, and then you die, come back, do it again. Usually the same soul contract, very similar. Those who figured out, okay, I better do something about it. Most of us is like that because initially the ego will judge, our ego would judge and feel bad about the programs we have. So it just makes them stronger. But the third path is about feeling it, resonating and owning it, all our most challenging issues, usually in our karmic patterns in the soul contract. And we bring feeling consciousness to it, and we find the origin, we target the program, and therefore we can clear it. Because all the soul wants us to do with the suffering and the karma we have is to bring consciousness and clear it. It wants to feel going from the positive, the negative state of a karmic program to the positive state, because it's the visceral emotional shift that it wants, which is why it came into a body. And then that layer of the program goes. The layer of your onion is peeled. And there are many layers of even the same program. That's why it takes a while. And divine healing peels these layers in the right order. Okay. So the first divine healing training was in 2006. I remember that. It was very clear. Emma and I had this house in the country, and we had about 14, 16 people, and it was really powerful because people were making these massive breakthroughs. Because what we were doing is that everyone had the willingness, desire, and courage to bring feeling consciousness to their programs here. This is the program in red. Bring consciousness to it. And this is the feeling consciousness here. When you feel it, you can heal it. And this could be the fear of stepping into the life you already desire to bring your mission online. you can fill that with this energy, then you can change it. No matter what the ego is doing, this can be changed. That's also what I want you to do, is to feel it. So, but the ego is not going to let us do that too easily. What it does is this. It numbs us out. It puts this layer of turquoisey ice, emotional ice, so we can't feel our programs. Because what you can't feel, you can't heal. Okay? So, and we learn to control our emotions with our prefrontal cortex in the West. And so we move from feeling to thinking about too much about it. So what we do with divine healing is that gently and lovingly, we start to get a right colour that actually works with these different colours here. We break through the defense mechanisms of the ego with grace, and then we bring our feeling consciousness to the programs. In most of our programs, we don't normally consciously feel unless they erupt. They are very buried with a lot of defense mechanisms like this around it. And when we learn divine healing, the group energy will basically hold a safe space to allow you to go deep into some things you may not normally want to get to. And as spirit descends, grace descends, and then the programs just dissolve. Then you realize it wasn't such a big deal after all. Just my ego was making a ton of noise, but actually wasn't too bad getting in there. This is how we actually clear the fear of stepping into the life we desire. Okay. So the way you open to abundance is like this. This is the key message. This is our higher self. Yeah, made up of the God self, the higher emotional body, and the non-linear mind. This is the part of you that just knows everything in the higher level, is connected to all that is. This is the Antakarana, the silver cord you might see in movies. It connects us to our lower self. That's you and me, us, our impermanent personalities in these earth suits, in these avatars, out of a mental, emotional, physical, and energy bodies, 7 bodies altogether. And this is full of these emotional separation programs to create the illusion that we're separate from God. What used to happen is that when we first incarnated, there was no veil, no separation. There was no separating energy from God consciousness, and we'd incarnate, and we could just feel part of all that is. So we were pretty blissed out. So guess what? We didn't do much. We just lay around because there was no drive to find source, because we knew we were source. But now, because we have a sense of separation, we go looking for it, that special thing. So the spiritual hierarchy said, okay, we need to have everyone forget who they are, disconnect. So there'll be a search for that special thing, which is the reconnection to source. So our job is to clear this entire ego construct of all the programs that our ego, that our souls put in place for us to transmute, because those programs, as we transmute them, they become our gifts of service, and then we can use those to serve, help others wake up. And as we clear this, the Antakarana gets bigger, so more unconditional love, more consciousness comes in, we start to feel better. That's why spiritual people who work on themselves look younger and younger. I turned 60 2 weeks ago. I haven't got barely got any grey hairs. I think it's a mixture of detox programs, but 14 years of divine healing. I haven't let the programs wear me out. Okay, so, and so you keep doing this. What happens is that the Antakarana gets bigger, more love comes in, which means more programs loosen up, because we're no longer judging them, which is what the ego will do. We're just accepting them, therefore they come off more easily. And if we keep doing this process, this is called enlightenment. This is where the ego has completely surrendered, and it purely serves higher consciousness. It becomes a vehicle, okay, for higher consciousness. And then what happens is this. Surrendered ego serves higher consciousness, and then it flows through you. It starts flowing before you get to this point. I mean, it's very rare to get enlightened, but you can get make good progress, get as close as you can to it. Because the ego is clear, there's no barrier, minimal barrier for higher consciousness to come through to deliver your gift of service from the higher self. This is pure unconditional love, plus whatever else you're here to bring. My gift is to bring knowledge and empowerment by overcoming unworthiness to be loved and disempowerment. So the opposite, I move from one negative polarity to the positive polarity. So abundance doesn't come from buying lottery tickets or trying to do funny schemes on the earth plane and make money out of people. It comes from clearing your ego. Because once you clear this enough, then this higher light will come in and it will then go out into the matrix. I mean, the movie The Matrix is the closest equivalent to what's really going on here as a metaphor. Okay. And the matrix will rearrange around that program. So abundance comes from the higher dimensions. It comes from source. This reality is just a projection screen. There is no abundance in this reality. You have to draw it down through you and focus it out into the world by being a clear vessel. And if you can do that, then all sorts of magical things start turning up. This is actually how you do it. And it's not about pulling it from someone else or getting it from someone else. It's about bringing it from yourself. And if you're opening and focusing on what's in divine order for your soul, then it will start to turn up. Right. Here's what else. Another important diagram. Let's have a little drink here. So the key to living an abundant life is to follow the spiritual map of life laid out by your soul in the soul contract. Following what we call a spiritual signature, which is in each moment, there's one right action that will open your heart that the soul wants to follow. And what happens for most people is that our little ego here thinks it's in charge, which is an illusion. And we are following the path of the ego, the path of suffering. Sort of sums up the Western world especially. We're going on this dotted line and things aren't going so well. We have to work really hard and force things to happen. So what happens with the use of divine healing is that we move to following the solid line more. It's following the spiritual signature, following the path of bliss. Because as we converge on it here, as we realize we need to follow spirit, not follow the left brain, okay, because we've been very poisoned by the introduction of money on Earth. Money is designed to separate us and control us. Not all planets have money, monetary systems. As we follow the path of bliss, if we follow what opens our heart in each moment, as we get clear enough emotionally to feel what our heart opens to, we converge on the spiritual signature and life comes to us. Things unfold with grace and ease, and eventually we're just in each moment, with each breath and each step, following this path. And that's true abundance, because everything you need will be there on an as-needed basis. You'll be able to use spiritual power versus left brain ego force. And if you're following that path, everything you need will turn up as you need it. In fact, it'll come to you if you get clear enough, which is what the aim of using divine healing is. And so by this stage, you would have expanded your consciousness into the vastness of spirit. And what you're really doing is this. You're doing this. You're allowing God, higher self, spirit, to live through you, and you become a witness for your life happening. Because higher consciousness is in charge now. The big self is in charge, not the small ego self that's scared of death, its own death, scared of God, feeling abandoned by God. The big self comes through, and you become a witness for something quite amazing. That's the key to abundance. So it's not a quick fix, as I said at the beginning. It's a lifelong journey, but if you start following that, then life will get easier. So, as we clear our emotional blockages, which block our life force, what happens is this. As they dissolve, life force is freed up. Our life flows better, more things manifest. So that your job is to consciously clear whatever's coming up for you on your ego onion as it comes up, because it's coming up in the right order. Okay, because the higher self knows, the higher self built you here, built your ego onion. And in divine healing, what we do is that we align with the higher self, and it will guide us one layer at a time and say, okay, we're going to do this layer, then we're going to do this layer. And it'll keep peeling this thing till you get down to this in the end. So it's possible with this to dissolve an entire ego structure and become a surrendered, conscious, totally ego surrendered conscious expression of your higher self. Okay, and that's a very blissful, peaceful sort of life. And you're no longer a slave in the matrix in the way you were when you were born. So what divine healing does is a very simple, quick, and profound and accurate set of tools which you can use on yourself and others, reconnect you to spirit through burning through all those blocks to higher self. It's very self-empowering because you can clear yourself, and ultimately, if you keep working on it, it's keys to enlightenment. It takes a bit of time, but it can be done. It allows us to identify and deeply heal fundamental underlying program that creates reality in each moment. You become the master of your life. You become in charge. You have more love, joy, fun, and aliveness. You can actually start to take those dreams you've had and turn them into reality with quite a bit of work. And reconnect to your true essence and deliver your gift of service to the world. So this is what we mean by the open to the flow of abundance. It's the abundance of the soul. And yes, that may include money as well. But it's important not to focus just on money. It's to focus on what is the final state of being you'd like to be in life. Okay. Then let the universe actually work out how to get there. If you just focus on the money, then it's not going to be particularly happy because it's not fulfilling the soul. Money is just a mechanism of exchange. Okay. So if you're focusing on there's not enough money for the rent, just focus on the rent being paid, or you've got enough money to start your business, or you focus on the business starting and the money will come, provided you're clear enough. Okay. All right. So it's sort of a summary of it. Any questions on that so far before we actually go and try some of this? I just wanted to give you some a framework for what we're about to do. Anybody got any questions or comments? Maria?
I think we touched on it at some point on some webinar, but I just couldn't help thinking about that powerful group of 1% people, without mentioning the names, that are holding most of the money. Of course, as you said, money, abundance, it's not all about money. But how come? I mean, their egos must be enormous. They are.
Well, they're playing a role for us, those powerful people.
Okay.
And our job is to take that negative context and focus on, well, what does that bring up in us? They're a mirror for us. What do we wish to create in the world collectively? Okay, we're facing that very question now in the world. What do we wish to create amongst all this darkness and disclosure of pretty horrific things that are going on in the world? And it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it's our collective darkness as a race. So how do we want to create an abundant, loving, unified world for ourselves and our children? So this is what the outer reality is showing us. Okay, attacking them or projecting on them is not going to change anything, but it's what does it trigger in us that we want to create? And that's actually our greatest power, is the power of humanity as a group consciousness to change the world. That's the greatest power that they've kept hidden from us. Because if we all focused on a peaceful world, unified world, it would be like that in 24 hours. It'd be done. Because such is the power of humanity as a group consciousness, which is why it's all about divide and rule us for thousands of years. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Brenda needs to leave earlier. Okay, thanks so much for your time. Okay, that's okay. We'll send you the video later, Brenda. Okay, so I have opened the divine healing space because we're going to have a direct experience of this now. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is close your eyes and take your shoes off and have your feet flat on the ground so you're grounded. Okay, someone else is wanting to join here, maybe. Yeah, here we go. Hi, Catherine. Okay. And we are going to start doing some divine healing so you have an experience of it. So what I want you to do is focus on your gift of service. If you know what it is, focus on it. You may not know what it is, but if you do know what your gift of service is or have some idea, focus on it as if it's already done. It's in a completed state. Okay? And this is how we manifest what we desire. We don't want to be in a place of I want to do this. We're in a place of it's already done. And then the universe has a target, has a template to work with to start to manifest that. And when we focus on what we desire, what then happens is that all the programs in the ego will be triggered to come up and try and stop you, this is why we're doing this deliberately. Because as they come up, we're going to clear them with divine healing. Then you'll be a little bit closer to what you desire. If you're not sure exactly what it is, focus on becoming clearer on what your gift of service is. All right? Okay? Don't focus on, if you've got money challenges, don't focus on the money. Focus on the positive state of being you'd like to be in, that money would help get you there. And then you let the universe work out the rest. Because remember, you are a spark of the divine. You actually are, we're actually all the creator in many different bodies. We just forgot. And when you realize how powerful you are and you clear enough of the ego, then things will start to turn up. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to clear some energy interference first, which is in the way of connecting to higher consciousness. Okay, keeping your eyes closed. For the sake of the guys on the video, watching it later, we're going to clear a layer of energy interference at the lower end of the astral plane that blocks higher consciousness coming into us. That's what we're going to clear first, so then you have a better connection to higher consciousness, higher self. I'm going to clear these beings quietly now, and I want you to breathe through your mouth because it keeps you in the body. And just feel what's going on there, okay? So we're going to clear Earthbound Souls first. These are beings who are connected to you. They used to have a physical body, but when the body passed away, they left the body and they connected to you because you have similar issues that they had when they were embodied. And they're trying to hold you in the space of being separate from God and trigger certain programs to feed off the energy. So we're going to do this quietly now. Be aware of what happens in your body. Feel the energy shift. These guys are leaving now. And now we're going to clear extraterrestrial presences. And these beings that are vibrating at a higher frequency, they're just observing us. They want to know how we work. There's nothing to be worried about. We're going to clear them because they're interfering with us as well. Now we're going to clear discards, entities, and attachments. These are other beings who come in, basically the rest of the sort of interferences. on the from the astral plane. Feel the energy shift. Okay, just feel that shift now. Okay, you can open your eyes and just sort of come back a bit. So I'd just like to hear from a few of you. How did it feel to have the interference cleared? Who wants to share how that was? Something, okay, Amy?
I could feel like I can feel my own aura and feel like the tingling in my arms of my own energy moving after things were cleared.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Anyone else want to share how that was?
Yeah, I agree with Amy. It's same thing. It's like all of a sudden I felt an expansiveness, like nothing else was there.
Yeah.
So it was good. Definitely felt the shift.
Thanks, Gail. Anyone else? Maria?
I could feel tingling in my feet and my legs were started shaking a bit, and I was seeing a beautiful violet purple color. So I felt more than last time because I think I took off my socks also.
Okay, thanks, Maria. Anyone else want to share how that was? Okay, Patricia. You have to unmute, Patricia. It's not quite working yet.
There we go.
What's up, that works?
I'm not exactly sure what a shift should feel like. I've always had trouble feeling shifts, but I felt like I needed to straighten my body more, instead of being hunched over. I gradually started to sit up straighter. And so maybe more of a feeling of lightness.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, Ina?
Ine. Not Ina, Ine.
Ina, sorry.
But with the name reading of your name, it was a feeling of a shift of consciousness. So I had also a little difficulty to come back to your screen so fast. I could sit here for another hour in that beautiful energy with feeling what my purpose is.
Okay, thank you. All right. Sim, I think, said very strong energy came flowing after the last clearing. Mel said felt some movement in my throat chakra. Okay. Anyone else want to share how that was? Okay, we're going to do the next one now. Oh, Nikki.
I'm not really sure, but I really didn't feel, I couldn't feel anything really.
Yeah, it's okay. You may not feel anything from it, but sometimes you may feel stuff. So, okay. All right, we're going to do the next thing now. We're going to clear what we call main low frequency programs. These are programs which run on our ego, trying to stop us moving forward. All right, so I want you to close your eyes and breathe in, okay? And feel what's coming up as you focus on your gift of service, okay? I'm going to clear that. And breathing through your mouth is very important, okay, because that gets us into the feeling in the body, okay? So everyone open your mouth. We're used to breathing through our nose normally to avoid feeling. You breathe deep into your body, deep into your diaphragm. I'm going to call up the Divine Healing Level 1 manual here. So we focus on your gift of service, or what you're trying to manifest before. It's one and the same thing. And breathe into it and just feel what comes up in your body, whatever that is. It could be fear, it could be unworthiness, it could be doubt, lack of trust, it could be anything, but we're triggering whatever's in the ego to come up. Maybe a fear of stepping into the life you really desire. And be okay, just be present. You know, be present with whatever comes up. It's a big red dot we were showing you earlier. And it's okay to be present with it. We don't have to be happy, look happy and be happy all the time. It's just a program in the matrix. It's okay to have negative feelings, negative emotions come up. And feel how that program, whatever it is that comes up, it could be, you know, could be that lack of trust, it could just be the fear. Feel that program. And bringing consciousness to it. And the more you breathe into it, the more consciousness you bring to it, that layer that's coming up, the deeper the clearing. Divine healing can be like laser surgery. You can feel the program, you clear it, then you actually forget sometimes what you actually cleared because it's just gone. And become aware of the original time it was set up. It could be in childhood, it could be from a past life, it could be from another dimension. Just be aware, your higher self will help you here. Just get a feel of the energy of where it came from. We're targeting the program now. And let yourself open to all aspects of this feeling coming up. Expanding into that big red dot with your consciousness, your feeling consciousness. Become aware of the ego's attachment to it, of wanting to suffer with this program, this feeling. Become aware of any feelings you have of being bad for having that program, feeling, oh, I'm not making much progress. I shouldn't have this sort of program anymore. I have that one a lot. Oh my God, it's here again, this program. Become aware of all judgment that the ego has of it. Because the judgment is what holds the program in place. And the more you can open to it, the more it can integrate and heal. Keeping breathing into that program, because we're going to clear this program now. We're going to do what's called a command code, which is what we do with divine healing, because it's based upon ask and you shall receive. Because you each are a spark of the Creator. So if you ask, and you're aligned to higher self now, if you ask, then a layer of that program is going to leave. So what I want you guys to do, we're going to do this together, is switch on your microphones, because when we do this together, it's very strong. Open your eyes. We're going to do this command code one line at a time. We're going to do this together. When you say this, it's not just words. You are commanding the universe to do something. You're going to mean it, okay? Repeat after you. You can do it in bite-sized chunks. We are Saint Germain.
Yes.
We are Saint Germain.
Germain.
Or the purple flame.
For the purple flame.
Through the aura and subtle bodies.
Through the
aura
and bodies.
Burn away.
To burn
Burn
away
away
all low frequency
all
low
frequency energies
we have discovered.
we have discovered
So that new higher level vibrations
so that new higher level vibrations can be assessed.
and be assessed.
Can be accessed.
We'll pause there, let that energy come by Saint Germain, Saint turn up.
Saint Germain and higher self.
No, not yet, not yet. We've got to pause and just let that first part happen. Now we say Saint Germain and higher self.
Saint
Germain and higher self.
Please burn out in one go.
Please burn out in one go.
100% the core issue.
100%
issues
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
We'll pause there, let that happen. Very thorough. 100% the original cause.
100%
the original
cause.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through
all
all
levels
and
and
dimensions.
dimensions.
100% the source of its power.
100% source of its power.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
100% all energy attached.
100% energy attached.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through
all levels and
dimensions.
Pause there. 100% all of its effects.
100%
all of its effects.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Everyone say thank you, because gratitude is very important. It opens a direct connection from your heart to source, and abundance flows. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You feel the shift?
Feel the shift.
That's just me. It's just me. Get that shift settle. So we'll just have a bit of feedback while you integrate that. We do the next chart. Divine Healing has 26 charts we do. In the training, we teach you those 26 charts. You spend 4 days going through a massive healing intensive there. Okay. So who would like to share how that was, either on the chat or by voice? Okay, Faye.
So before, when you were talking about feeling into the ego and the issue, I was really angry, and I felt that people just kept expecting too much and taking too much from me. And as that was happening, my co-founder was messaging me saying, help, I need help with this on the bottom. And I was like, oh my, this is just the universe laughing. And so I really sat with that rage and just let it. And then I really, really felt it when we were doing the chants. I could feel it kind of working through my body. And yeah, it was good.
Okay, thank you, Faye. Perfect timing that was, wasn't it? Riz.
What I felt initially was some real frustration because I felt like I was getting told to be patient, and I felt that my block was from this life, and it's from childhood, and I felt that the child part of me was so frustrated and saying, how much more patient do I have to be? And what I felt was a lot of reassurance, just to continue to trust, to be patient, that the time will open up to you, and for that just allow that to just fall into place. So I felt a lot of reassurance rather than any real emotion. So it was as if that they were really soothing that child part of me.
Yeah, that's where the male affinity program's coming from. So yeah, so that cleared them. Okay,
Thank you.
Maria.
I actually never got into any feelings or emotions. It went straight into my head. I went straight into my head.
Yeah.
And this is my biggest challenge, not being in my head.
Yeah, it could be that the ego doesn't want to feel something painful from usually childhood or some other past life that might have come in the body, but it takes time to move from the head to the heart and the feeling. It's a big learning for all of us in the West. Okay, so it's fine. It is what it is. The layer would have been shifted and you became aware of that, doing something.
Maybe I had enough during our workshop.
Yeah, we only just finished it a little while ago. Okay. Who else would like to share, either in the chat or here? Amy?
I felt a lot of like childhood sensitivity come up, almost like a feeling of sense of crying, that I was so sensitive, because I feel like I am a sensitive being, so I pick up on a lot. And so when I was focusing on my divine purpose, which I feel like is being more of a leader, and like my ego self was saying, how can you be a leader when you're basically weak and crying? So I felt a big shift from that too.
Yeah. Well, we normally start off in the opposite of what we're to become. So we go from one state to another. So we may not feel strong, we may feel shy, we may feel fearful of speaking out. We gradually learn how to step up and trust ourselves and feel worthy, and then we step up to lead. It's not always obvious what we're here to do initially.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to share how that was? Okay, Cheryl? Yeah, you're okay. You're fine as it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds on.
Oh, whoopsie. Yeah, so when you started the exercise, I was thinking about the gift of service. It's clear in my mind what I want to bring. But then this other thing popped in. There's a line of work, a separate line of work I do. And a lot of people, really like that I do this for them. They pay me money to do it, but I don't really want to do it. And so I found myself thinking, well, why am I thinking of that? And then it came to me, the program that I needed to dissolve was this feeling that I always have to do things for people, even though I don't want to do it. And I don't know where it came from, but it was like, oh yeah, you don't have to do that. But I've been, be the good girl, do the thing. Oh, sacrifice your time for these people who need you. So that was I think the program. And during the shift, it was almost like a feeling like I was a deflated air mattress being kind of blown up a little bit. I found my head going back a bit. That was the sense of it.
Okay, you clearly got something's trying to come out. Yeah, we triggered something. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Well, Patricia, are you making a move towards the? No. The sound's on, Patricia. If you want to talk, just so you know. I know you've muted yourself now, so. You don't want you want to speak or not? It's not.
Well, I could. I don't think I raised my hand, but what came up for me was things from childhood. I think there's a lot of programming that I have to release, and it's self-doubt and the thoughts that often come up for me are like you have no opinion, do as the adults tell you what to do. And I grew up that way. So I've really been working on releasing that. And this is what I'd like to see through divine healing, to get rid of all that programming so that I can really express myself, the true self that I am.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, lots of realizations come with us when we realize how our ego built things up. Oh, Tim said here, my higher self was like, really? Question mark, we're going over this again. You know this already. Okay, let me explain again. Barrier in my way is fear and guilt for not fitting into the way the world currently works, mainly providing money. My purpose became clearer again, which is just to be spread love and light. Okay, great, you got clearer. Okay, so just stay with that fear and guilt program, Tim, and we'll gradually get clear. So now what we're going to do, we just cleared main low frequency programs. So we're going to clear past lives which have created a lot of what's going on today. So what I want you to do is close your eyes again and focus on the same manifestation, the same gift of service, or what you want to create to become abundant. All right. And then with the intention of triggering the past life files in your energy field, we're going to trigger them to come up, and then we're going to clear them together. Okay. So this is a fast way to go to clear things. You focus on what you desire to clear, what you desire to create, and then the ego will do its very best to stop you. So we sort of ambush it, really, because it can't help itself trying to stop us. All right. Rather than focusing all the time on things which we think are wrong about us, because that actually creates more. So we're not ignoring what has been triggered, what's in us, but we're focusing on what we want to create. So breathe through your mouth and breathe into that program, and then you'll sense energy lines or feel the energy lines going off into the past, especially behind you in the time-space continuum. And then you may become aware of past lives. You may see pictures, you may feel sensations, you may feel your emotional state changes. Because as that past life file opens, it's going to come back to you as if you were really ill. We'll do that for a few minutes now, breathing through the mouth. And as you become aware of the past lives, breathe into them. The more you breathe into it, the more that you're going to get the feeling of it, of what it is. And some of it may not be pleasant. And the idea is to feel it, because then we're going to clear it all. And this actually creates 80% past life of what we go through. It's unresolved issues from those times. So now we're going to do the command code together. So I want you to keep your eyes closed. I'm going to give you the words. Repeat after me. Actually, you can open your eyes. It might be better. It's easier. So this is I'm going to adapt a command code for past life deaths. So just listen to how I say it and repeat after me. Still breathing into those past lives. Repeat after me. Higher self. Actually, microphone's on as well. Higher self.
Higher self.
Higher self.
Heal and integrate.
Please clear,
heal,
and integrate
Clear and integrate
all these files and memories.
all these files and memories,
Including all cellular memories.
including all cellular
memories,
The DNA.
The
and the
DNA,
DNA,
Subatomic levels.
and the
and the
subatomic
subatomic
levels.
levels.
I am now ready to heal
I
I
am
am
now
now
ready
ready
to
to
heal
heal
ready to heal
all traumatic lifetimes
all
all
traumatic
traumatic lifetimes
that have been blocking
that have
that
been
have
blocking
been
that have been blocking
the flow of my abundance
the flow of my abundance
at all levels and dimensions,
at
at
all
all
levels and
levels and
and
dimensions,
dimensions,
time frames,
time
frames,
time
frames,
frames,
realities,
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 Okay, just pause there. So energy and motion. It's asking you shall receive, and now we're just waiting for that to shift. Okay, now, next line. I command
I command
that any soul fragments
that any soul fragments
held with these memories
held
with
with
these
these
memories
now return to me,
now return to me,
fully whole and intact,
fully whole and
Very
intact
whole and intact.
as appropriate.
as
as
appropriate.
appropriate.
I welcome these soul fragments back.
I welcome these soul fragments back.
So we just pause there, catch that one come back. Because we get part of ourselves breaks off the sensitive parts, especially when difficult, challenging things happen to us. I command that the whole holographic matrix
I command that the whole holographic
matrix
be repaired
Repaired
through all layers and levels,
through all
layers and
layers
levels,
then brought into full alignment,
and then brought
into full alignment,
integration and balance,
integration and balance,
allow for wholeness to emerge.
to allow for wholeness to emerge.
Shift, breathing into it. Express gratitude. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Just keep your eyes closed. Just breathe in and embrace the shift. Good. Keep breathing. And open your eyes when you're ready. If you could just go on mute again now, guys, unless you're going to speak, so we get all the background noise. Okay. All right, who would like to share how that was clearing the past lives? Riz and Maria.
Yeah, that was very powerful, actually. I got a affirmation come through, which was just, you can feel it coming and you'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And it really felt very tangible. I could really feel that space opening up. And yeah, so that was quite a powerful shift.
Okay. Maria, thanks, Rose.
It was amazing. I went straight into a lifetime when I was sitting in a tiny little room as a nun, writing with a window closed, and actually later, so what do you call it? It was locked and like in a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been trying to sit on my bum and write my book, and it's not happening. So now I know why.
Try again, and you'll find it might be a little easier. Okay. Mel said, go on, Maria. Okay. Mel said here, I feel a little dizzy and lightheaded after we finished the reading. Definitely experience a shift. You probably want to drink a bit of water. Everyone should be drinking water after this because you're going to detox. Anyone else want to share how that was? No? Okay, we're going to do another chart here. When we do these deep clearings in divine healing, we follow these deep clearings with what we call integration charts. So we're going to do a nutrition chart here. So this is energetic nutrition. the frequency of these particular amino acids, essential fatty acids, okay, plus also minerals and vitamins. And you don't have to know what they mean or what they do. But what I want you to do is pick a number between 1 and 4, whatever number came into your head just then, and write it down. First number. And if you've got 1, and you've got A, amino acids, you've got 2, you've got B, essential fatty acids, you've got 3, you've got minerals, 4, you've got vitamins. Okay, so this is called number mapping. This is actually how we do divine healing. Because the higher self, which I've aligned you to, is telling you what you need to work with. So if you go to A, close your eyes and pick a number 1 to 25. Whatever drops in your head first is your higher self telling you which amino acid you want. Okay. If you got B, pick a number 1 to 19. It'll tell you which essential fatty acid to work with. And write that down. If you've got C, pick a number 1 to 21, and that'll be the mineral you need. And if you've got D, pick a number 1 to 26, and that'll be the vitamin you need. It's the first one that comes to you. If anything else comes after that, that's the ego messing with you. Okay. High self's very accurate. You don't even have to be able to pronounce the thing, okay? Just your intention places that energy in what we call a divine healing stack. All right. What we're going to do now is these frequencies bypass the ego. They bypass the defense mechanisms of the ego by infusing a pure frequency into you, which ego cannot grasp. Okay, this is why we use these things. And it's going to counteract or integrate, or help you integrate whatever is coming up. Okay, or clear whatever, integrate whatever program's running. So microphone's on, we're going to say this command code to infuse whatever the nutrition was. Okay, and you don't even have to remember what it was, as long as you focused on it, okay, then it's actually remembered by the higher self in the whole process. So microphone's off, repeat after me. Higher self.
Higher self.
Please encode this nutrient.
Please encode the nutrient
Perfect balance.
in the perfect
balance that it is required.
That it is required. And clear and align
all
pathways.
And clear and align all pathways.
For maximum assimilation, absorption, and utilization.
Absorption and utilization.
Close your eyes and feel the shift. It's going to penetrate into your system now. You may feel things moving around. It's going to neutralize imbalances, help you integrate everything that we've just done in the webinar. Let's say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, how's that feeling? Anyone want to share how that was? Maria.
I was just glad that I didn't have to remember all the numbers and names.
No, you don't have to remember.
But I didn't feel anything.
Okay. You may not feel anything at all, but sometimes you do. Anyone else want to share how they feel from that? No? Okay. All right, so that gives you a brief taste of divine healing, guys. I'm just going to see anything else I want to say about this. Any questions from that, on what we just did? Any questions on the process or observations, Cheryl? Have to unmute. That's it.
Is there any correlation between the dimensions and the, I mean, you know, the 12 dimensions and then the layers that we're peeling on our own self?
The layers are in the emotional body, especially mental body beliefs. So it's more than this reality. It's more astral stuff, mainly we work on here. Okay, third and fourth dimensional stuff. But in the high levels of divine healing, you go to soul level programs. You go up a few more dimensions on what you clear. Okay, but we're sort of at the basic sort of stuff here. The initial ego construct that we're taking apart. Anyone else got any other questions? No? Okay, I'll show you, give you an overview of the manual a bit more now before we finish up. So this is about empowering yourself. Okay, Kira wished to be Roshan. Kira Shah's and Meridia Mars to keep your health. Like this manual, channel it through. It took them about a year. And these are the 26 charts in divine healing that you learn on the first level. It's 4 days online on Zoom. And the way it works is like this. Basically, we have things like angel, which is the frequency of them, different energy frequencies, essences. Work on chakras, hydrating the body so you can feel more. Diagnostic charts like emotions and states. Fears we have. Blockages to God consciousness. That's a very big chart. Hidden ego agendas. That creates a lot of sabotages in our life. We did this interference chart. We often have lots of judgments and beliefs. Key psychological complex. These are psychological reversals where we are in conflict with ourselves. This is the biggest chart in level 1. Life stresses. We just did low frequency programs. We just did nutrition. We track down where a program comes from, because the more we can target it, the deeper the clearing. We did a variation on past life deaths, cleaning the subtle bodies, all 7 of them, releasing blocks to positive living. This is a powerful one. Sabotages that stop us doing things which are very deeply buried. Trauma clearing chart. Universal archetypes to understand what's driving us. Vaccines and toxins. Where issues are in the body, and symbols to clear. Symbols which are right-brained frequencies to help integrate. Polarities and short command codes here. So this is what we cover in divine healing. And basically, I teach you these charts, and then I teach the theory of a chart. And then if it's a simple chart, we just do the whole thing as a group, experience it as a group with the command codes. If it's a complex one, I demonstrate on someone in class, and then you see how it works. And then we go into Zoom breakout rooms where you give and receive the treatment. And eventually we get through the whole chart by following the spectral signature over the 4 days. And you get a massive healing, not just from the sessions you receive, but also from every other session. So it's a training in this very powerful modality. It changed my life radically. It got me to where I am now. Never thought I'd be in this sort of state. I knew I was really in trouble until this tool came along, but I used this rigorously for several years after learning it, and my life really started to happen then. And so you have a tool you can use on yourself and on others at the end of it. And you have a massive healing at the same time. Okay, and so you're going to, and you get to work with everyone in the group to practice. It's very powerful. And so if that interests you, feeling drawn to it, then to safely let go and open to abundance and deliver a gift of service, which is what it's actually allowed me to do. From being enormous debt when I started this business to being able to really get my gift out with my teaching. The next training is next week, 15th to 18th of June. You run 12:30 to 8:30 UK, so that Pacific people won't. It's an early start, but we have to cover sometimes out to India and Australia. So we're trying to have a time zone, a time frame that suits the majority of people. East Coast is 7:30 to 3:30 in America, 1:30 to 9:30 in Europe. Here, if you're in Australia, it's pretty late, unfortunately. It's sort of it's like a 9:30 in the evening start. Tim, you're on the East Coast, aren't you? Tim, are you in Australia? No?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, okay. It's 9 hours, isn't it?
8 hours.
8 hours, so 8:30 Hong Kong time to about 4:30 in the morning. But it's better than flying. People used to fly for this. Okay. So, and you'll need to have about 2 or 3 days off afterwards, because if you can manage it, because it's very strong. So you can secure a place with a deposit of £175, about $220 US. And the full fee, including the deposit, is £520, about $650 US. And if you want to find out more, you can go to the divinehealingtraining.com, and we lay out more, and there's other webinars and more explanation in detail of how it works. Okay. So, any final questions on that? Anyone's got? No? Okay, so we'll send out the video later. And the video, the next couple of days, the video is just as strong as when you have it here. So if you want to experience more healing, then watch the video. It will have the same strength. I discovered people watching the video dozens of times to get the healing off it. Some people were saying it was stronger than any sort of other healing they'd had in the past. So I didn't quite realize how much it had integrated the transmission. Mickey, if you want to stay on the call, we can talk about your question here. Okay. All right. So we're going to finish now. If there are no further questions, thank you for coming and engaging. Really appreciate that, everybody. And I'll be seeing some of you next week anyway. Some of you are on the course. All right. Okay. So to leave the meeting, just click on leave on the bottom right. Okay.
Thank you, Nicolas.
Okay. Thank you.
Nicolas.
Thank you.
Bye.